What's up, dude?
Hello, handsome bugger.
How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good. Let me sit you over here. So yeah, I am at a noisier place than I thought I'd be.
Don't worry, dude. Let me just grab my headphones as well.
Yes.
Dude, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to run this back.
Okay.
Right.
There he is. First off, man, I hope your mom's in Turkey for fun. And she's having a great time.
Yeah, dude. She's with Pops and they're on holidays with my sister
Nice,
and family and just at some beach resort type of place. I'm not really sure, but yeah, dude, they're enjoying life.
Nice, man. All the way for some, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Us still working over here through summer, but bills to be paid and all that. Dude, you know what? I just like yourself, broadly speaking, I like what I do, so it doesn't feel like work to me a lot of the time.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, of course. And that's also cool that you're tight with your folks, man. It's nice to have that connection, I suppose.
Are you close to your family? Where are they?
Well, I mean, not really. We don't really. I mean, my mom and I speak. I'd say, well, we text maybe once every 2 weeks, and then we show her the baby and we do like a video thing. But my dad and I mean, have spoken maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've spoken about maybe 5 times in the past 15 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's we don't have a bad relationship or anything. We just don't have a relationship, you know. So it's like that. It's like one of those. Anyway, man, look. Time, clock's ticking away. 3 minutes is enough for pleasantries. So, we're going to start off as such. Do you have much left to eat?
About another 3 minutes.
A little.
Hold on.
Okay. Well, then I'll bullshit for.
Shall I wolf it down and call you back in 2 minutes? Give me 2 minutes. I'll call you right back.
No, man. Don't worry.
I just need breakfast, and I was like, "Fuck!" I had this HR call. Oh, yeah.
How's the HR coaching thing going? Yeah, good, man. That's great. Sorry. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. So, it's Alex and I and the baby against the world, essentially. My father-in-law is here, thank God, because it just frees up so much time now that the nursery is closed. Because we have our schedule, which is I take the baby to school. Hopefully, I go to the gym at 7. If I don't, it starts getting tricky. So it's good to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Then normally nursery is at 9 o'clock, and then I pick her up at around 3.
Yeah.
So by that time, all I have to do is work, which is great. Even if I take a couple of breaks here and there, it's still I can be very focused. And then Alex is gonna stop working at the managing the baby kids store in September. So she'll just do the teaching, the English teaching stuff in the morning. So we're trying to make it work, but it's cool, man.
Well, I expect this will pay out so you can be like, yo.
It will, man.
I think it will. I mean, we're still making sales in the middle of fucking summer, dude.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It will. I'm not even worried, man. So I will tell you this much, man. You have an extremely potent natural ability to connect with people. I don't know if it's something that you cultivated or you reading up on enough stuff and feeling that maybe it's a natural aspect of your personality, which essentially came out a little bit more, because like you said, you had to practice to be in front of the camera. Now it's natural, but you also have like it's something you can't really teach. I don't really have it. I get it occasionally, but it's not like you just have such a zest for the conversation. You're impossible not to listen to, which is phenomenal. That's sales right there. That's communication. It's delivery, and it's something that you can get better at. But really, if you have that foundation, then you pick up a few tips and tricks here and there, and you just like you're doing anyway. So first, I wanted to kind of like jumpstart the not that you have any cobwebs anywhere around you, but just like a quick.
Don't worry about that. I want to focus on my weaknesses, so let's go for it. I'm excited.
Okay, well it's 12:36. I would like you to convince me right now, for the next minute, as to why cancer is good.
Cancer can be, I think, a really powerful thing for people in their lives. I mean, it's often told that when something that can alter the direction of our lives, potentially irrevocably, can be often the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And, for a lot of people, cancer changes their lives for the better. It causes them to take stock of what's going on around them. It causes them to reach out to their family. It causes them to stop going through the motions and to start living. So I've really seen that for a lot of people, when they get news about this particular illness, that it leads to just a lot of these amazing life changes. I mean, they make movies about it.
Done, man. You're just phenomenal. You're just on another level. I had two. I had one similar like that, and then the other one was, this is the Earth's way of regulating population. But excellent, man. So very, very good. So that's what I mean about natural ability. You're the type of person who, again, not that many people I've come across have this so kind of, to such an extent. And that comes with a lot of intelligence. The fact of, I mean, maybe what you studied helped a little bit, but it's something that for sure you had ingrained in you way before that. And it's something that I don't think you should change ever, because no matter what you learn and no matter what you do, no matter how much sales experience you actually have, people buy people. They don't buy products. They don't buy services.
Okay.
So I can be the best SEO manager in the world. I can be the best lead generator in the world. But I can be an asshole, unrelatable, who is incapable of building rapport. Somebody who's not trustworthy.
Okay.
You said something really wise the other day. I think the day before yesterday, which was I forget the exact quote, but people do something. People do everything the way they do.
The way
something.
You do one thing is the way you do everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that from a positive standpoint, that's you. So the way you're running the ship, the way you're selling, the way you're having the conversation, the follow up, the tenacity of, this has to close. We need the money in, not because I need the money, but we want to grow. All that is that's it, man. That's like 90% even.
Okay.
So tools wise, because we're 9 minutes in. NLP. Did you read through any of the two docs?
I haven't yet. I'll be honest with you.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. No, man. It's one page each practically, and it's not. I don't even know what type you are because you've switched around a little bit. I know I'm kinesthetic and visual for the most part.
Okay.
I think you're visual.
Okay.
For the most part, but essentially NLP is, I mean, there's like books and studies and things, so much you can do. But sales wise, and what we care about are 5 things.
Okay.
Very, very simple.
Okay.
Well, in essence, there are 2 things broken down into 3 and then 2. So the first part is what type of human being the prospect is. So they can be one of 3 things, or a combination of the above. So you can either respond to visual stimulants, which is somebody who, a great example of this is... and
this is the prospect, right, you're talking about? Or anyone?
Correct.
Okay.
Anyone. For you, it's anyone, but specifically in sales, it's the prospect. Great example of this is... Actually, sorry. So there's visual, there's audio, and then auditory, and then there's kinesthetic, which is feeling.
Okay.
So how you respond to this, how kind of like internally.
Okay.
Those are typical people who, and you're one of them, but you're not. It's not you 100%, which is you go with your gut.
Okay.
Sometimes things can be a little touchy-feely. Maybe sometimes you're more sensitive to things, but overall, the idea is. A great example of this is in Barcelona we have a metro system. Okay. And the lines are broken down into numbers, right? You have the 1, the 2, the 3, 4. I often struggle to tell you which number corresponds to which color.
Okay.
Right? Okay. However, I always know which metro goes where, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So there are people who could be colorblind for all you know when it comes to things like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not always easy, and it's not the end all be all. But sometimes, when you're pitching somebody, or when you're talking to somebody, you want to convince them, or you want to relate a certain piece of information. A certain piece of information. It's super potent to try and find out what type of person they are, because based on that, you can then alter your language to suit their kind of receptor, the receptor part of their, I was going to say brain. I don't know how the brain works, but the receptive part of the situation at the time. So say for instance, if before you find out, a great thing to do is open-ended questions to see what language the prospect's using, or the other end of the conversation is using. So if the person comes across as visual, to say, yeah, I see what you mean, then it's all about saying, listen, I'm going to send you some visuals. Do you see what I mean? Do you picture yourself when thinking about working with me? What do you see?
Okay.
So end of 6 months, what is it that you want to see? What is it that you need to see on the report next month in order to feel confident about the work we've done?
Okay.
What is it? What does success look like to you?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
smart.
let me explain how this works. Let me paint a picture for you, Deepak.
Okay.
Let's paint a picture. Visualize this for me, please. You have your leads. They come on through LinkedIn. Yeah. So we have our geniuses working on LinkedIn. They see the prospect. They see what they're doing. They send them through to your profile, and then everything is there for you to take in visually, right? So again, it's not an exact science, but it is a bit scientific though. So as you you're super intelligent, you can probably assume what the equivalent is for auditory, which is, good language there is. Do you hear what I'm saying? Is how does it sound to you? Does it sound right?
Yeah.
So so you kind of just switch the words really, and it's subconscious, and it's so easy to relate more to somebody who's using language that we perceive as correct according to us.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, and usually a good example of this, a visual person can a lot of times be a little bit more artistic. They need to see. The graph needs to be good. The deck slide needs to be beautiful.
Yeah.
An auditory person a lot of the times is tell me the numbers.
Yeah.
Tell me the stats. And I'm sure you've had this. Think back to when somebody has said, "Send me something. I don't care what it looks like. I just want to see what the numbers are."
Yeah. I have.
Right. So that person analyzes information different to somebody who says, "Okay, yeah, I need to see." Oh, and a lot of marketing people are very visual.
Yeah. Okay, so I think
a lot of artists are very visual.
That's interesting, because I think then that I'm I think I'm more auditory, I presume, because that's why I enjoyed rapping and well, no, but I don't know actually. It's weird. Because anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll have a look at your doc. That's secondary.
It does matter though, because it's good to also identify what you are, and you are definitely a mix. Because a lot of times, how a lot of times you go with your gut.
Yeah. Right,
and you say, okay, this feels good. That's kinesthetic, and that's also very artistic. So what happens is the third one. So let's assume that auditory and visual are essentially the same thing, but one is visual.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
It's very transfer. Right. On the questions there is, again, how does it sound? Did you hear what I'm saying? I mean, does it make sense? Does it sound right to you?
Yeah.
That's a great one. Does it sound right? And then the person can relate much more and say, you know what? No, I'm not. Or yeah, it sounds right.
Okay.
The tricky part is to identify what type the person is, because I don't think, from experience, when I've used this, it's not to say that most people are just one thing.
Okay.
In fact, I doubt that's true, unless somebody is extremely like a super accountant, or somebody who's super into like a math whiz, right? Wouldn't care about. They'd be more, data driven.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
but usually it's a mixture of at least two.
Okay.
Right.
But there's three total, right? Audio, visual, and kinesthetic.
Right. Exactly. The third one, which is kinesthetic, is all about feeling.
Okay.
And this is like the more kind of a the people who need to, again, gut feeling, people who need to, you know how sometimes you don't like somebody but you don't know why.
Yeah, something feels off about them.
Or you do like somebody and you don't know why, or you don't really care why, but you know what, this feels good. Yeah. You know what, you go to this restaurant, the food's fine, but there's something about the people, they're just cool, you just like the so that's the kinesthetic part of you saying that, I can really relate to this guy or this girl. So for them, it's about how things feel. Does this feel right? How does it feel? Yeah. Like when I tell you, okay, let's work together. What does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Does it feel good, or
feel good. Yeah.
Is there anything that scares you about it? What is it that ultimately I want you to be happy with working with me? So it's super important to me to understand, to make sure that this feels right. Does it feel right?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So you leave with an opener to gauge how they respond, and depending upon what they actually say, then you can gauge their learning style, whether it's verbal, auditory, or kinesthetic, and then you adjust language subtly but appropriately according to how they respond. I wonder how that changes when you've got more than one person in the room. Like yesterday I had a face-to-face with two people, and one of them was just staring at Debbie the whole time, and I was trying to gauge. He was like looking at her, Debbie came in, she didn't say fucking anything in that whole meeting, but she was there just to observe. Anyway, this is all by the by. I'll ask you about specific circumstance later, but it was just I was thinking of yesterday.
By the by, man. That's great, and I think it's great to interject and speak about specific examples, because I know from personal experience they stick better when we, and this is also to do with like the storytelling stuff we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Another session, which is when you mix the fiction with non-fiction a lot of times, and you use personal examples.
Yeah.
You draw from a parallel. It's way stronger. So what you did right there is amazing, because now I visualized, because I'm also very visual. I saw Debbie standing like this, and I saw the one guy looking at her like this, and I saw you doing your thing in like a little boardroom, and
exactly that.
Right. So that's super important. It's divide and conquer in those cases.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
But in that case, if you're here and then Debbie's there, and you're visual and Debbie's auditory, in an ideal world, of course, it's hard to know who's what and those types of situations. But if you pick up on something, you then just go with it, and you say, good. So how does this whole thing look like to you, Deepak? Does it look good? Okay. Debbie, does it sound right? Does it sound right to you?
It makes sense now, because they were kinesthetic, because they were looking for a feeling. That was clear. That was why they chose us over the other agency. And I think Jonathan and Charlie. Jonathan, you kept using the word looking sometimes, so I presume that might at a very base level mean that he's visual. But then the other chap, I don't listen as well as I could in conversations. I tend to interject, and then I gauge micro reactions by their tone of voice as to how they respond, or a look in their eye, and I'm like, okay, is this being received or is it not being received? But I don't have a framework, which is what you're giving me right now. So I try and intuit what's going on, and my intuition's, it's okay, so I get by. But the other guy, I couldn't work out the staring thing, because even Debbie was like, he would talk to me, and then he would look at Debbie and be like, and it wasn't a hey, I think you're hot kind of thing. It was a judging.
Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I don't know what the gaze was. Anyway, this makes sense what you're saying. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring it into the call that yesterday, and then even on that call, the one that I sent off for Lee, Joe's cell. She was like, "Oh, Deepak, I feel like I know you. I've seen your videos. I've been watching them." And she's like, "Oh, when I heard your voice, it's like I know this voice." And there were some of the expressions she was saying. Okay, fuck it, dude. Sorry, I'm drawing connections between some of my previous sales experiences and what you're saying.
This is great, man. That's great. That's what you should do, man. You should always relate it to what you're doing, because what you're doing is successful anyway. We're just looking at, I've done some things that may help a few aspects of this. This is not like a sales 101. This is, you want to call them hacks. I mean, I know it's a hacky word to use, but so a good thing there is, a rule of thumb is you break it down by, if you're not sure, and you need to just go with your gut, break it down by job title.
Okay.
So you're likely to come across, if somebody's a CEO, founder, runner, managing director, managing partner, chairman. Usually, at the helm is somebody who takes decisions.
Yeah, the MD. Somebody Jonathan yesterday. Yeah,
the MD. He's the risk taker. Usually, they can be a number of things, but for them, a lot of times there's also they have to go with their gut as well. If they're doing well and if they're making snap decisions. Decision makers are decision makers for a reason.
Okay.
And you'll find that people who are in a decision maker role but don't have that ability, they're not going to make it in the end. Because if a CFO is in charge of the company, you're not going to spend any money. You're going to be way too conservative with your spends and your gambles, and you're probably not going to lose as much or as many times. But eventually, you're going to lose everything. So to take the opposite side of that, the CFO is the math guy or the math girl. CFO is somebody who needs the stats, needs the figures, and they need to see, what are the lines look like? You have to think of them as a balance sheet person.
Okay.
So for them, it's not about hey, Mr. CFO, hey, Mr. Treasurer, what does your gut tell you about this? No.
Okay.
Because it's like telling a mathematician, what you feel the answer is going to be. It's like no. I need to get all the stats, all the figures, all the facts, and I'm going to give you the answer based on. They should not be the ones making the decisions. They should be the people feeding that information to the decision maker, who most likely is going to be either visual or auditory or kinesthetic, but in a less linear fashion. And they are the people who need all of this information to say, you know what, my gut tells me this, and the information is backing my decision.
Got it. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So keeping that in mind, it can help. Now, of course, if you have two managing partners or two partners and you're not sure, again, this is like you say a lot of times. A lot of things are nuanced, and this is it's like it's like an extension of those types of things. And this is not a case of you go into a meeting or you go into a conversation or a sales pitch and thinking, what are you now? Let me figure you out. Because a big one with NLP, which we'll get. It's clear, right? What the three are and where.
Yeah. So gut, words, gut, auditory, and verbal. Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Exactly. And then when you identify, it's like, do you see what I mean, or do you hear it? How does this feel? And you break it down. How does it sound?
How does it sound?
How do you feel? Yeah.
How do you feel? Yeah.
And you'll find the tricky part is because you have your own vocabulary. Sometimes, if you identify that somebody's very visual, it's a little tricky to then change your whole pitch to say only C words. You're like only only visual words. But that's how this aspect of let's say communication works. Yeah. And there was a doctor, and I have it written down here. It's like early 70s.
Okay.
There was a computer scientist, and then a therapist, a doctor who's a linguist and a therapist who put together, created NLP or stumble across it or give it a name, I suppose. Now, another one, which is great, and it's so overlooked, and I forget about it all the time, but it's super, super, super powerful, and in my opinion, kind of supersedes, well, not going to say, it should be used in combination with, but this is a huge one, and the whole MD and CFO roles play into this scenario super well. NLP is also responsible for whether or not we want to do something in order to achieve something or in order to avoid something.
Do that in order to achieve something, or do it in order to avoid something? Okay, yeah.
Correct.
To achieve or avoid. Okay.
Exactly. So you'll find that a lot of risk takers are gonna book with us for an SEO campaign because they want to do better. Yeah. Because they want better rankings. They want to outdo their competition. They want to rank better. They want to do. I want this because I want to get there, do that.
Yeah.
The more data driven professional, the more let's call them the CFOs in this case, are people who book on, buy, invest, purchase because they want to avoid things.
Like the negative SEO people, like Alexis. Yeah.
Right. Okay. In her case, though, she has something that she needs to combat. So that's more in a practical sense. Yes, she wants to avoid the negative. What I'm referring to is
their approach, is their ethos, is what you mean. That's a practical.
Exactly.
It's a bit different. Yeah. No, this is okay.
Correct.
Got it.
So, for instance, you make an investment because you want to make more money, or you make an investment because you don't want to lose your savings.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. It makes perfect sense. I'm going to put my money with the bank because it's safe there, because I want to avoid losing more money. I'm going to put it in an ISA. I'm going to put it in a high growth stock because I want to increase my income because I'm trying to grow. Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes perfect sense.
And those two types of people are going to be the people who are saying, listen, I need to get more leads because I need to get more business, or I need to, and then the language changes dramatically. It's the exact same, and this is the beauty of it. It's still lead generation, it's still SEO, it's still ranking, but how you paint the pitch or you deliver the pitch, it's like a 180. So the one is, you need to do this because 3, you're going to outrank your competition, you're going to grow, you're going to take over the world, or you have to do this because it's going to save you a lot of money. It's going to make sure that you're in a safe place.
Yeah.
It's a huge risk to not do this.
This is brilliant. Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Right? And this is, generally speaking, you're either 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Whereas with the three categories, the earlier ones, it can be a mixture.
Yeah.
So I mean, predominantly you are 1, and then you can have different attributes attached to that one. But for this one, it's you're either 1 or the other. You're either somebody who, say for instance, you want to sell something to me over the phone. Good fucking luck. If I don't know you already, and if I don't, I'm the type of person. I'm the worst type of client in the world.
Okay.
But when something feels right, that's why I'm a lot of things. I'll just fuck it. Here's my money. I'll just invest in that because, like I've done in the past, because you know what? I don't know. It just feels right.
Yeah.
But let me show you the data. Do you know what I mean? So, which is stupid, but then sometimes it works.
I'm like that as well. I go with my gut a lot. Yeah.
And I find you tend to win more often than you tend to lose. And also, if you're not good at that, if you're intelligent enough, you will find out, you will learn that your gut is not as good, and then you have to adjust. Otherwise, So overall, the main things with NLP are: you're already having a conversation, you're already booked to have a call, you're already trying to convince somebody.
Yeah.
If you get and this is not something you have to actively do and just say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to analyze and I'm going to make sure I know what you are. But if in the back of your head, you hear somebody, like you said in the meeting, one of the guys was saying about seeing and about looking more, right?
Yeah, Jonathan.
You take Jonathan,
Charlie.
take Charlie, and then you say, do you know what? And it's also a gamble because maybe they just use a word randomly, but usually it's going to be, no, I'm going to go 100% visual here.
Yeah.
And you just increase your chances of better communication because it's like you're speaking their language essentially. It's like mirroring the DM, but instead of using pace and a manner of speaking, you're actually using words that pinpoint how they're thinking.
Yeah, it's superb. It makes a lot of sense. Huh. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, man. Just keep it. And again, these are two. I mean, you have the capacity to have a lot of these little things around your head. So to say that, okay, I'm going to draw from this now. And then we're going to do something else about. I have enough to do where you can say, maybe you can use this one. This guy keeps saying about it doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Let me speak about feelings.
How do you determine whether someone's avoid or achieve?
Same with if somebody's super cautious, then that this person's probably want to save themselves from something.
Okay, I see what you mean. You can, yeah.
By the
way that they approach a deal. Yeah.
Correct. So, or anything, like you start a conversation, like you said earlier, that you tend to kind of lead. Sometimes you feel like you jump in a little bit too quickly, and okay, maybe that cuts the flow. But then you're very observant as to how people respond, and then sometimes you read between the lines, or you pick up on certain types of silences, and you say, "Ooh, I know how this worked," or "That actually didn't work. Let me change." Right?
Yeah, exactly. I will adjust mid-course if I'm like, okay, that was not received well, or something I said there a bit, and I'll try and go in a different direction and see.
Right.
What looks like it's feeling right to this guy.
That's right. And look, you've spoken to cowboys, right? You've spoken to people who are like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it, let's go, let's do it. That person isn't there because they want to avoid getting hurt. Those are the people who want to take over the world.
Yeah.
So for them, it's I'll tell you why you have to do SEO. You have to do SEO because together what we can achieve is A, B, C, D thing. C, D. You're gonna just grow. You're gonna achieve. You're gonna do.
Yeah.
You're gonna go. Whereas the person who's a little bit like, yeah, you know what, I like it, but So the good thing is you
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm just thinking about what you're saying in context of the meeting yesterday. So Jonathan, the MD, was saying, we do a lot more than a competition. So he wants to achieve, because he's saying we do a lot more than a competition. They're not doing what we're doing. We invest in PR. He's clearly on a growth track, and I didn't cotton on to that in terms of, yeah, I completely understand, and I think that together we can basically smoke the competition. You're already ahead, but no, yeah, okay. I need to think about how I would build it in. But he was achieve, and then Charlie was more of he was playing the CFO and the CFO in this arena. And that became
like he was being bad cop essentially.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he approved though, but he was the one who was a little bit more right. How does it work? Show us. I mean, Jonathan threw in a few like tests on the spot. Oh, what would you change about this blog kind of thing? But he spoke about I want to achieve. Yeah. Okay, all right, fine. So then if he was like, oh hey, I want us to do better. Yeah, we're doing well, but. We're doing a lot more than our competition is doing, and it's been 4 years ago when I started the business. So he's definitely talking about he's entrepreneurial. He's talking about he wants to grow and achieve, and then given that also so I know that he wants to achieve. Now, was he auditory, visual, or kinesthetic? He was saying don't know what they're doing. I think he's just mostly I think more so kinesthetic, because it was also the fact that he asked us to. Charlie was like, he was. He's kinesthetic. Charlie was definitely bad. Why? Because Charlie asked us to print out the fucking whole proposal. So we turned up 5-10 minutes late because we had to run to a print shop, print this shit out, 22-page doc. They didn't. Jonathan was doing something quite interesting. He wasn't reading it. He just now and again he'd like. And then he would put it down again, and it was nothing. He was not fucking interested in it, and it was interesting to watch his mannerisms. And he was just definitely. It was okay. So it was more kinesthetic, and he wants to achieve. But then kinesthetic and achieve, and then Charlie. So if he's kinesthetic and achieve, I say, listen, I'd love to join you on this journey. I do believe we can do great things together. It's clear that you guys are on a mission, and I'd love to be part of the Surrendered family and basically just help you guys knock it out of the park and just leave everybody behind. Something like that, some shit like that. Because that's achieve, and that's the feeling that he talks about. And then with the other fucking dude.
And sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
And you use the word feeling there. So you say, listen, maybe it's because we have the experience. Maybe it's because we've done similar things in the past quite successfully. But this just feels right. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't ask questions enough when I ask shit like that. I don't ask questions enough.
And then when the guy's doing this.
Yeah.
That look, I'm very suspicious by nature, and I'm very I'm quite observant, and I look at things and I try to analyze everything as much as possible because I want to try and be ahead of what's going on.
Yeah.
So that can be from, depending on what type of person he is, that can be an intimidation tactic. Okay. It can be nervousness.
Okay.
It can be the fact that you came across as, oh fuck, this guy's like a hurricane. I need to somehow keep up with what's going on, so you don't know necessarily what that thing is, and it's very similar to just watch videos in that did because I know somebody who actually studied NLP, and we had this long conversation last Christmas. Okay. And he was giving me the whole spiel with everything and using NLP, and he was too fixed on, okay, if you're speaking to somebody and they there, it means A. If they look up there, it means it's B. If they look up, that's bullshit, because you never know. Like, okay, generally speaking, if somebody's like, sure, they're nervous about something. But then if you ask me something, I go like, Does that mean I'm trying to think and make something up? I'm trying to remember? So that's not a tale. That's not like okay, he did this. Let me, you know what I mean? So this doesn't necessarily mean something, but the person who makes you print it out because they want to have the data there because they want to, you know, that's the person who, in my mind at least, generally wants to avoid losing something. They're the cautious one.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the people, the strong DM type is closable on the phone, because as long as you either, you know, sing a nice song, paint a pretty picture, or make them feel right, they're the person who's going to say, yep, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because they're the achiever. They're the one who's going to say, I'm doing this because I can see winning this. Whereas the other guy, I don't know if it's this guy or the other guy, whoever guy, is the type of person who's going to be like, so, you know, what, yeah, I don't know, because they are the one who need to be flipped around and say, they're the one who need to hear that if you do this, you're going to save money. You're going to not fail. You're going to, rather than you're going to take over, you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
And like a go-to is you're going to save money.
So it makes sense
now. If you don't
now.
do this right now, it's going to cost you more further down the line.
So Jonathan, so there's Jonathan and Charlie. Charlie was the marketing manager. Jonathan was the MD. We met Jonathan and Charlie, Deborah and I did, as per the picture. And Charlie was the marketing manager who asked for the printout, giving the context that the MD's a bit old school. But that was actually bullshit. Because the MD got the papers and he wasn't interested in it. But the paper just happened to be in front of him. And it was Charlie who asked for it. And the old school was more just about gut and feel. That was what it was about. He was not old school in his desire to do SEO and to find agencies. He just as we found out later, he became so busy that maybe he wasn't making... there was no time, so he had to go on gut and then blah, blah, blah. But gut minus data wasn't enough, so Charlie came in for the data. So yeah, no, you're right. That was really an over-analysis. It's literally just about the fact that also when we put the fucking paper down, that's where Jonathan happened to sit down, so the papers were in front of him. So then he was just doing the... Okay, anyway, so then... Okay, so I did... no, sorry, I'm just... This is it's very useful to use it as a framework to look back at a conversation I had and try and...
Yeah, this can be the case study of the session. This is great.
Yeah, to try and navigate kind of what was going on. And then... Yeah, I mean, the group dynamic is a bit of a... I always struggle with group dynamics when I'm on a call with Kaz and with me and someone else. It's my natural feeling to just take charge of everything and to drive the conversation. So I struggle there sometimes because I think that I don't allow the other person to... It doesn't become two team. It becomes me and then leading and then that's it. And then maybe... But is that how calls are meant to be run? When
sometimes,
yeah.
Look, in those cases, you never know. Say you're pitching me, and you bring on Kaz as the you know, the details guy or the person who's there to you know, back you up when it comes to a certain type of
data.
I mean, you know all the data. Yeah, you know everything anyway, but it helps. Sometimes it's like a power play. So you don't know how I'm going to perceive. A lot of times I think it works to your benefit if you have somebody who is quite different. That's why, you know, the call where Kaz recorded the objection handling call with a client who wasn't really like complaining, and then my comment was his tone wasn't like, okay, let's do this, or yeah, we're going to deliver. And then you came on and was like, oh, this is how. But if you have two people like that on the phone, then it can be overwhelming, because then it's like, okay, so you brought two salespeople here to convince me to do what? You know, it's not like... You know, it's a lot of times it's good to have two strikers, but you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, Eon, 1 second. No. Hey guys, don't worry. Come in and feel free to feed the cat. I'll feed the cat today. Okay. So tomorrow come back. I scared you, didn't I? Yeah. Listen, your food was amazing. I loved it. I'm gonna come and get your food some more. Sorry to scare you. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, you're going to Gloucester?
Oh, when are you back?
I'm not back tomorrow in about 6, 7. So.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, that's why I just feel on.
Yeah, of course. No, I really appreciate it. So today, don't worry. You know what? I'm in a meeting right now, but thank you. I'll message you back in a little while. All right. Enjoy Gloucester, guys. Yeah. See ya. Sorry, dude.
No, it's not. So yeah, because a lot of times it's like it can be overwhelming. You know, especially if somebody's not really ready to like get the whole pitch. That's why it's not good on the first ever contact. You have two people. It's like, what's going on here? You know, you start off slow and then you add ammunition.
Got it.
But I can be the type of guy who I don't care what the other person's saying. They can be silent for all I care, and then if I need data, they can just pipe up and give it to me.
Okay. All right. Fine.
A good trick with that is if you feel that you're like overwhelmingly overpowering the conversation, to try and consciously think about asking the other person to give it the 2 sets at a time, where you'd say that's right, Kaz. Sorry, isn't that right, Kaz? Or something to, and as long as the other person is also switched on, they can back you up and then kind of get out of the way so you can continue.
Got it. Okay.
In that sense. Or another good way to do that is if you're confident that the other person is qualified enough or powerful enough or confident enough to answer a question, you can maybe split questions. So if you're like the tank, the bulldozer, and you're just bulldozing away, and it's working, and then the person says, okay, yeah, but what about this? And you say, yeah, absolutely. Actually, you know what, Kaz, what do you think we should do there?
Yeah,
like
sense.
maybe consciously try to think about.
I tried that yesterday. Yeah, and it fucking it failed because I realised after I asked it was too much too soon for Debbie. So then that's the point at which I think, yeah, okay. So Jonathan was super observant, the MD. He was definitely more quiet of the two, and that's when he was looking. And I think that I noticed it more after I said, Debbie, we could show them the copywriting stuff, couldn't we? And it was more to just be about like us having an internal chat in front of the client. And then she was like, and I think he caught the.
Maybe she didn't know enough.
She didn't know enough. She didn't know enough, evidently. And but then that was early-ish into the conversation, and then from then he'd kind of look at her sometimes, and maybe he was like, "Who the fuck's it? This chick?"
Right. Did she start yesterday? Which, yes, she did.
Yeah, she started like last week, and this was her first ever meeting. So I didn't know how it would go because I rarely have in-person meetings anyway. I just said, "Fuck it, come along for the ride, and let's just see what's up." But that makes this. Sorry, dude, I interrupted. I'm just really...
You're not interrupting, man. We're doing this together, man. It's not like this is great because now what you're doing is you're looking back, and it's great that it's a recent example. It would have been awesome if I were a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
That way, because I've done the meeting together, super easy to analyze and say, you know what, this is what happened here, that's what happened there, this is why that guy was doing that. When they looked at each other, this is what I think the guy meant.
Yeah.
When he said this is what he actually meant.
Yeah.
He's actually trying to get you to give him a better deal. He's just stalling. He's not a decision maker. He doesn't actually want to do it, but he's being too nice to you, so he doesn't want to say no. So he just wants to let it fizzle out. All of this stuff is. Yeah, you can't imagine it. You have to be there or listen to the call. To give your opinion. But still, man, the fact that you've had enough meetings, you've spoken to enough people, so you can judge for yourself. So I think it's good to look at things from a fresh perspective and say, given this information, I think that this would have worked even better.
Yeah,
it still worked clearly. I wonder if maybe. Like even better language was used, would they have to wait until September?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that I should have. I don't know if I should have, but I could have. Yeah. I mean, I could have said, so why not start? Why not start today? I mean, yeah. You
can, but you know what the problem with that is. Because, and this is a big thing we need to discuss, and it's less of a, let's call it a session, and it's more of a, like a moving forward PL-wise, we need to implement a way where I don't feel pushed when you mention timeframes, because so far what's been happening, at least with the people I've been pitching, unless I use a certain scenario, and so far it's only legitimately worked when somebody has been approached by us.
Yeah.
So I'm calling you because I'm the type of person, if you call me, if you get in touch with me and say, listen, I saw you guys got an award and I'm interested in SEO. Realistically, there has to be it's impossible to convince me that anything is honest when you say I need an answer by then, because these are our prices for July. There's nothing. The only thing which would work for me is like, listen, nothing. There's a complete transparency. I have my targets. I've done this in the past and it's worked because I knew the guy wouldn't believe me. And I said, listen, urgency, emergency. This is all bullshit. I'll tell you what. The event is in October and we're going to sell it out as long as we have positions. And we still have positions. Really, I'm one deal away from reaching my target. That's all.
Okay.
So if you book on with me now, you're gonna change my whole year. But hey, look, that's not your problem. So whatever. If you want to work with me, fantastic. Let's do whatever you want. And the guy turns around and says, you know what? I'll do it. But why? Because I could tell he was the kind of guy who, Martin Islander, he was the kind of guy who was like, I like you. I'm going to do it for you. The guy pays 47,500 euros.
Yeah.
He'd been pitched 10 million times. He was on the no-calls list. I had an impact statement, and I called him, and he started shouting on the phone. And I said, hey, just calm down. What's happened? You're launching a fund. You need to fundraise. And I want to pitch you. Well, what's all this fuss about? Yeah. And he shut up for like maybe 20 seconds, which is like 3 hours.
Yeah, of course.
And in the end, he booked on. We went to Switzerland. He did the event, and he said, I have a complaint. I said, oh, here we go. What is it? He said, I should have done this sooner. And those types of people are the people who are intelligent. They are insightful, and they're the people who you're not going to say, oh yeah, strike while the iron's hot. Okay, yeah, why not? Fuck it, let's do it. Right, but let's look at your calendar tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm not that. Okay, well, what about that? There has to be a reason as to why. Anyway, this is another session. I'm very happy to do it now, but it's good to also have.
I'm happy to do the defined stuff because I get overwhelmed quite quickly. So I'm happy for us to focus on the avoid, achieve, kinesthetic, audio, visual, and that be today's learning. Great. With then a takeaway, deeper think about this or try and do this. Have a sales call because you're going to be on some with me or with Joe. Great, we can practice and we can see how you navigate or try and experiment, whatever it may be. Yeah.
Great. I think the urgency one is a huge one, which we need to have a clear strategy on, because I guarantee you that, I'm not going to say that you would have had double the business so far, but for sure there are a lot of people who could have done it had they felt an internal, that's why we call it urgency, an internal urgency to move and to take action, rather than felt pressure to give you an answer quickly, which they were not ready to do.
Okay.
To know.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's an important nuance. So yeah, I agree. It makes a lot of sense.
So that can be for another session, but I think that's something that I would like to implement, because it just makes the pitch so much easier, and it's so much easier to then just say, you know what, I just don't think this is a priority right now. Why don't we just leave it? Because the blowout, the takeaway is extremely powerful as well. Yeah. It tests interest and it shows that you don't care. Why? Because you have another 10 people booking on this week.
Yeah.
Which means what? I'd love to work with you, but you know what? I mean, we're not going to go out of business. I hope you don't either. But realistically, I think there's a cool project to work on. But then what? I mean, next week is impossible. The week after that, just leave it. It's fine. Look, what's going to happen? We just don't work together. The person who wants to do it turns out, no, wait. I didn't say I'm not interested. Yeah, but I feel like I'm pushing you now because I need to know now, because otherwise, look, this guy's going to book on.
Yeah.
Like I told Gabor, as I said, look, air travel is a huge area. Do you know how many requests we get? But we're only going to work with one person who wants to rank there, because if not, we can't work with Pepsi and Coke. Why? Because if I start ranking Pepsi and then I start ranking Coke, they're doing the same thing. They're going after the same people. Essentially, everybody loses. And then whoever pays me more, I'm going to rank them better. No. But that's why I need to start now. I'm sure you can appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I get it. You're right. And that's the turning point of, you're not pushing me to buy it. It's like, fuck, if I don't do it now, this guy's going to do it. And that's the fear of missing out,
Okay.
right? And then there's greed, but that's for another session. But okay, so let's see what time.
Dude,
we
it's
still have
fine.
10 minutes.
Yeah, we can finish up here, man. The hour's a framework that we don't go over. We can be under. It's not a problem. I'm at this stage really more happy. My bandwidth for new information goes after like a 45-minute maximum. After that, I don't really want new things.
Great.
But I'm happy to summarize
Great.
and review and be like, right, this is what we
Very
learned.
good.
This is what we spoke about. Deepak, this is maybe what you could do, or you can ask me, how do you think you can, however you prefer, really. I quite enjoy that piece as well. So maybe we could treat sessions as 45 minutes of learning, and then 5 to 15 minutes of like, let's review what we learned. What are we going to do about it?
Fantastic. So then a great kind of follow-up piece here is you think about a recent case, which you've already done, where you kind of, you kind of think back to what happened, what type of people do you think the prospects were, what type of language you used.
Shall I go
Did
back
it work?
to a call recording I've got and analyze it, and then come back to you with that? Because I've got the
Yeah,
recording, so then you can cross-reference it and say, actually...
Fantastic. That's even better.
Yeah.
So you do that, send it through to me. We can, I'll make notes on that. Thoughts on today's session? What do you take away from it?
I take away that I need to be more mindful of the words, literally, that someone uses when we're in a conversation to establish whether they're auditory. I hear what you're saying, Deepak, and I think it makes sense, but what I'd also like to hear from you...
That's the perfect example. That's why when you ask open-ended questions, you're more likely to get information as to how the person needs to be pitched.
Yeah.
So what do you think so far? I like what I'm hearing, but
yeah.
Audio.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but what about?
So
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
I wanna. Yeah, exactly. So I need to. The takeaway is to establish whether someone's audio, visual, or kinesthetic, and adjust appropriately. So and then if they're an avoidance or achieve. Avoid punishment, achieve success. Avoid punishment, achieve success.
Perfect.
And correspondingly, based upon the information that I gather in the first, literally, it could be the first minute. It's not even like a long. It could be less even if you just sense by things that people do, saying, I've been looking at the numbers in your proposal for a while, Deepak. Okay, this guy's data. He cares about the technical implementation. Let's take him down and be like, oh yeah, amazing. I'd love to hear, and I'll say, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Well, there's this point specifically, and what I'm seeing here is that you have missed this, and I see on pay, and you'd be like, right, see, this guy's a mixture of numbers plus visual, something like that, and it's like, okay, he sounds also like he's avoidance. He's trying to avoid being fucked over. So that's what I need to adjust to and think about. Hey, I mean, yeah, cool. All right. So there's still okay. So I know what I've learned. There's still some new thing. There's new questions in my head that I have that we can bring up in later sessions. So
great. Not even later sessions. Sooner. If you today, tomorrow, whenever you write them down or send me a voice note.
Yeah.
So make notes and then send them through now that they're fresh. Tomorrow, today, later on today, tomorrow morning, if you can sleep, whenever. So that we address them now rather than in a week's time, whenever maybe you forget.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Whenever they come up, and I wanna before you need to go, I wanna leave you with a big one, which is when you're trying to close somebody, because another thing is you may never realize what type of person they are. So don't feel that, again, it's the end-all be-all, because I'm sure you've closed enough people without having a clue about, how they need to be spoken to.
Yeah.
A great one is when you find out, and you towards the end of the pitch or towards the end of the conversation, this works with sales, it works with decision making, it works with if you want to, strike a partnership with somebody, whatever it is, right? Deepak, everything great so far. Objections, everything comes up, you're close to the end of the pitch. Okay, so what do you need to see from me to move forward? Okay, what do you need to feel in your gut to say, yep, I'm the right guy for you? What is it that you need to hear from me to know that I'm the right partner? Because once you know, using their language in a closing question like that can be very powerful, because you can also uncover a true objection and say, do you know what? You tell me this and this and this is going to happen, and I'm going to do it. And that's how you get that part of the, what do you need to hear about this restaurant to go over dinner, to go out to dinner with me?
Yeah.
Right? What do you need to see on the menu in order to say, yep, this is where we're eating?
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes tons of sense, dude. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. So, action. Let me just write this down. Action.
Yeah, man.
So, so the action is to review a past call on SoundCloud. So I'll add that here. The questions I have, really, there's just there's a broader one underneath that, really, but there's two things. So they're the questions. What are the questions that I can ask, just in general? I need to maybe memorize some, and then because I'm not naturally avoidance, I struggle with avoidance people because it's not in my nature. I'm about, like, let's achieve. So when I meet an avoidance person, I think that I fall apart a little bit there, or I'm definitely not as smooth when I have to focus on this is going to save and this is going to help, because it's not how I think about stuff. So dealing with people that are not my style is something that I want to learn. So this guy's right-handed. You have to do shit right-handed, Deepak, but you're left-handed. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I'm going to fumble. And I had this problem in military training that I was shit sometimes with the sight because I was always left-handed. They're like, why do you have a left? And I was like, I'm left-handed. They're like, we don't give a shit, Deepak. Our rifles are for right-handed people just like the world. So that was an example of
really?
Yeah.
Oh, much for the safety, for example, because otherwise it's the same, no?
Yeah, absolutely. But then I'd have a tendency to close the wrong eye, and then I have a bearing on the left because of the way that I'm used to closing my eyes when I aim, and I have to do everything in the opposite of the way that I'm used to because I'm left-handed. 1 in 7. Yeah. Because they don't make 2 sets of rifles for left-handed or right-handed people. Everything's for right-handed people. So then you adjust it in the beginning. Because of my biases, I would initially struggle because I have to retrain myself.
Of course.
Same thing here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll tell you what. I'll write out a set of questions that can, or like a direction for the conversation to help with avoidance-focused people.
Yeah.
It's mostly about. Anyway, don't matter. I'm just writing them down.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's just.
And then, yeah, man.
That's it, dude.
I think this was great. Awesome to me. I really enjoy these things, man. I just want you to know, to me, it's like, I love this stuff, especially with, somebody like you who's just fucking on the ball, switched on, and just gets everything. This is
really good, dude. I'm happy. I've got an action point. I want to go and see if I can. I've already learned some stuff that I can take away and start implementing, and I want to do that. I'll do the review SoundCloud before our next call. When's a good time for a next call for you, dude?
You tell me. Let me open up the old calendar. You say you want to do 2 a week, right?
2 might be unrealistic because it's Wednesday now.
Okay, well then, why don't we aim for next Monday then? And then we do Monday, Friday, like you said.
Can we do Tuesday next week? Tuesday, Friday? Could you do Tuesday? Mondays tend to be a bit manic with the clients and shit stuff. So
of course.
Yeah. So Tuesday would be fantastic.
Yep. I don't have any calls, and then Alex's father's still here until the 15th, and then her mother gets here on the 16th. So she kind of like tag teams over so that until the nursery opens up again, because it's fucking impossible. So yeah, unless we have a call, in which case, I suppose that takes, But other than that, yeah, you just let me know when.
Tuesday, same time, Tuesday, 11:30 UK time.
Yes, 1 second.
Perfect. I'll send you the calendar invite thing, dude.
Ah, great.
Yeah, no, don't worry about doing it. It's fine. I'll do it. Tuesday. That's the 13th, right?
Tuesday
Yeah.
is...
Okay, cool. All right, dude, sent
Correct.
to you. It's sent. All right.
Superman. Lovely. Well, this was awesome.
Sweet, brother. I've recorded the call. I'll upload it and I'll share it as unlisted, so you and me can have a look at it for whatever.
Superman. Yes, to the invite. Great, man. Yeah, of course. And then anything that comes up in the meantime, when you're thinking, hang on a second, man, you said this and then this doesn't add up, or we'll just talk about it.
Yeah.
So in principle, there's a lot of application for NLP, and even if you don't pick up on what the prospect needs to hear, it's not the end of the world. These are just, again, little things here and there that could help. And the more of these you have,
There will. It's expanding my toolkit basically, and that's
it.
Yeah, I want that. That's what I want. All right, perfect, my friend. I will.